Why, hello there. Let's get all squared away here. Did forget to do this right here, which is going to be problematic. Let's fix that. Okay. So. Let's get going here. I finished over the past couple days. I did finish up. I took the class that I was writing. It wasn't a base class. It was just a class that we were inheriting from. Chucked it. It wasn't working out. There's no way that was sane that I could find in Dart to invoke, even if you have a typed interface, to invoke a method on it from a generic. So, what I wound up doing was I went back to object controller base. I'm back to an abstract class, but it is now typed, and it now has a couple of things that must be implemented. This one also. But then it has the default behaviors for things that can be done generically in all instances of it, right? So, we get all of our count work for free and all that good stuff. But then in the not landing page, that's right, you live here. In the controllers, we do have to implement the new object because it returns very specifically a new thing. That might actually be possible to pull out, but the main one is load items. Because we have to be able to know exactly what it is to call the from JSON on it. So, we do that. And I'm trying to remember. Yes, this needs to be overridden as well, because we need to create the very specific thing that this controller is for. They're all config objects, but anyway, that's where we wound up with that. So it's all working now. And I went and finished up the page for we had attributes. Attributes is done, and then skills, I implemented skills. So that's all working. Now I'm getting, before I go any further, I'm getting this start page here working. And we need to make this, right, meow, this will overflow if we make it small. So I need to fix that. And for that, I need to, first I need to do this. Let's get that going. For that, I need to figure out what I want to do here. And I think if I was to add another couple of these, just as an example, there's only 6 showing. Oh, you know what? I need to reload that. That's why. There we go. Yeah, so that would extend off too. So we need to be able to wrap this. And we need to then be able to not overflow the card. So there's 2 problems we need to tackle. And also my internet has decided to be crappy. Okay, that's cool. So. Yes, I know you're unhappy. Oh, yeah, you're. I need to. Take a look here. think we need a flexible widget. Flexible widget must be a set of a row, column, or flex. I think if we were to, we're done with that. Not here, but here. So this is expanded. Can I do this? What happens if I do this? Then they grow and shrink, but what about making them wrap downward? So flexible is cool and all, but that's the algorithm. I must be looking for a different option here. Because I don't necessarily want them to shrink down. Keep it up, man. You got this? Cool, thanks. Let's see here. Wrap. Let's see. Horizontal or vertical runs. This looks promising. Okay, let's give that a shot. Let's pull this over here. Shrink that down real quick. We probably want this. Don't think we can replace row here because, well, no, maybe. Because we don't need this if we're not doing a row, I don't think. Because we have, in this case, gap between adjacent chips. Well, let's run it without that real quick and just see what's going on here. Overflowing. Box constraint forces an infinite height, but you're wrapped in an expanded. Doesn't have a size. Hmm. I would need to... You're not expanded, so it's got to be coming from here. Why do you have... Just in case. And now we're still unhappy. You good, or can I read? Infinite size during layout. Yeah. Okay. Infinite size. I wonder if that's because... I wonder if this is the thing that's breaking that. Or if it's the wrap. Ah, okay. So it is that. Well, now it's huge, so that's a problem. But it's shed some light. So we need to... think about how to responsively build this. What if I... Well, no, that wouldn't work either. Would it? I don't think. I think this breaks. I think this has unbound. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's incorrect use of parent data widget. Okay. That is still kind of expected. My problem is I don't want this to be... let's say 100 and 75. Oops. So that would work, except if this is 200, 180, well, I guess it does wrap it. But I don't really want to hard code the size of these guys. Do I? It was 150 and we said, okay, so 175. So half of 75. 37.5. Probably just call you 38. Wow, that got tiny all of a sudden. Why would that be? If I made them both 150, they should be square. And they still look rect. Oh, you know what? I bet this isn't the exact size of this. It's the size of the canvas or whatever it ends up drawing an SVG on. Select widget mode. Yeah. Okay, so it's got a center inside of that, so that's fine. That's good to know. Ugh. Is that a good size? Get out of there, please. It's a little big. It's not bad. Oops. We just need to adjust the size of the card. Maybe that's okay. If we're not going to do anything with those constraints, let's get rid of the layout builder. We're just going to make a size. Okay. Now, what was it that we did for the card? There was like a min. We did that in client. Let's go review client real quick. And it was in, I think, the login screen had one of the occasions. Sized box, width and height are max width and max height. And they go inside of a center, but also they go inside of an expanded ultimately. So when we build the page, screen tile, size box rather, and then in main, the display page here lives in an expanded. Okay, so we just need to make this what was the max size though? Oh, because we do by constraints, right. So yeah, I should have kept that open. You're in an expanded. Size box is max width and max height. I think it's because these are fixed. We need to make this like that. Looks good here. Looks like crap at full size that it's supposed to be at. Now, some of that is the fact that this wrap we need to set, what was it? The spacing and run spacing. So let's just do that as a starting point. That shoves you out of there just a little bit at this size, but it's okay. I feel like that needs to be more bigger. That's better. Still shoves it out there, though. So we could do a media query. Well, actually, let's think about this really quick. What is our... Well, I want it to be... I want it to be good, is the problem. I think I would need... Actually, I wouldn't put you there. That. So if we did this way... Oop, that breaks everything because you're now unbound and crap. Okay. You have an infinite height now, right? Yeah. Which is fine because I actually put that in the wrong place. That shouldn't go there. It needs to go inside of here. Because we only want this part to scroll, in theory. And that is happy. And then, okay. So, like, if you do something and make it absurdly small, you know, that's kind of on you. Let's put this back. We just want to degrade in a graceful manner, essentially. So it looks decent here. And then as you get smaller, for whatever reason, you can't run the resolution, you get a scroll. I'm happy with that. That's fine and dandy with me. I would kind of like... Tell me. Why are you so huge? Oh, because you expand to flex is why. I would need to... Instead of flexing one here, let's do like that. Wait, so if it's 10 total, I want like 8 and 2. There we go. Except I also want you to be centered within your parent. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, that's probably better. And then again, as you. Shrinkify. That's not bad. I'm okay with that, I think, for now. Okay, so let's get rid of most of these, because we've implemented flexibility for later. So now we just have our 2, and let's go ahead and start working on making them work correctly. But let's do a commit for this here first. Okay. Commit. Let's double check everything I did in this commit. Yeah, I think it's all just making this work correctly. I should make hover and click animations. Hovering needs highlighting, yes. Clicking, I don't think needs an animation because it's just going to change the page. But it definitely does need a hover, yes. The landing page cards. This actually should be put the landing page cards inside of a wrap widget. Make cards a fixed size. Make the card area scrollable if the card is too small. Oops. Okay. So we got a couple things we need to do. We need to figure out let's do the hover first. On hover property. I think that's quite what we want. There's a package for that. That seems absurd. About change widget background on hover. Pop. This uses an inkwell, which I don't necessarily... I'm not super against it. But that would make us have to make this stateful. Which we might have to do anyway. Oh, we can do a mouse region wrapper. Okay. Let's take a look, see here. Then they go on to not. They talk about focus. I don't care about focus right meow. Hover color property of input decoration. We don't have an input decoration on a column. If we were to just inkwell you, is that not? What are you? Oh, the W is capitalized. And then this has on hover. Still has the on tap, which is fine. On hover, we can say, I think this would need to be has a hover color already. Why do you have a hover color if you don't have a way? Unless it's automagic. Let me rebuild that. Does not seem to be automagic. Is anything working, actually? We need to do... that if we want to make sure. Click is not working. Is that because I've wired something up incorrectly? Or does it have to do with... Could spring the size a little bit on hover and lower it when they click, and then it goes to the next page when they release the click. I could. If the clicky was working, why isn't click working? Why? What am I forgetting? Green tile. I bet you it's because, well, I bet you that the hover is because this is not stateful. But where did I use an inkwell over here in client? I feel like there was something I'm forgetting that I had to do. I think it's in the character select. Because these character select guys are inkwells. Inkwell. We gave it a hover color. This guy is a stateless widget, so we should be good there. We just need to give it a hover color, I think. Okay. And we do have it on tap. Do I have to wrap you like this, perhaps? For you to actually be evaluated? That might be it. Yeah, click inside and click both fired. Okay. And it actually does highlight. It's not very visible. That's fine. I would like, I think, more padding around these guys. Or, I guess I could... I would need to do stateful for the animation, I think. If we were going to do that. I'm not sure I want to make them increase in size or not. We could do... I don't think this is going to work. Well, let's try it. Just for educational purposes. This can't be final. Can it be late? I don't think so. This is gonna be mad. Non-final fields. Let's not even mess with that really quick. Well, let's do that. I think you need to be floats, doubles. But then I can't control them. This can't be const. Alright, so this won't be like good Flutter, but we'd need to track we could actually say this is, I think we can go back to const here. Instead of width, this is that. Just a little more, we'll say. And then we would need to say, well, we can't do that either. Could I do this and then you'll be unhappy about it, but that's fine. We'd probably have to go stateless or stateful, but on hover we could say oh, it's function bool. I guess. In theory, because it'd toggle it back and forth, right? And then in our here we say so we just need to do an else, and then I guess it'd be like that. Think the events are firing correctly, but we would have to convert it. Do I want to do that? I don't know that I want to do that. Like, it'd be fine. But it would be much simpler to do just a nice big... Let's do just a little padding around, yeah? And I also think that's a little better. Yeah, I like that. But I would like... hover color, theme of context, color scheme on primary container, maybe? Ah! What did I do for the character? I think it was purple on secondary is what I did. Yeah, that's much nicer. At least in this theme. And then gets a little boop when you click on him. That's fine. That's just part of the Inkwell widget. I don't hate that. Let's do a commit for that. We'll do make on hover work for well, or it's actually swap to Inkwell widget for page tiles. Make on hover more distinct. That's what we really did. Okay. Now, we need to do... we need to get the navigation working. So that's fine. That's fine. It's here. This needs a... okay, it's the screen. We'll call you target screen. And then the function will just say set state. Why aren't you... set state can be accessed in an initializer. Oh. Do I need to... register you? in some way, shape, or form. If we were to... Can I put you up here as a function? Just say set page, let's say. And then I could say... And if I took... This is a... editor screen. And then in here I say display page equals the screen inside of this data object. And then in here, in my on-click target screen, set page target screen. Instant memory can't be accessed in an initializer. Can add a late though. That'll work. This actually shouldn't be here though. This should be... Oh yeah, this should also be lowercase. We should do all of this in the initializer, I think. In its state, yeah. I think, pretty sure. So let's come down here. Call the super. And then... Just thinking if we could make this like a const or something. I don't think we can though. Yeah. Because we have to provide this. And then we also need to define that can be late. So we set that, and then in here in our init, we set it to the landing page. I think. It didn't quite work, did it? Let's make sure everything's wired up correctly first. It's not. You can put a click in here. Interesting. That's not fun. Is it? Do I need to rebuild? Is it a hot load issue? There we go. Okay. Everything worked as soon as I did that. So that takes us to there. Now we need to make this work as well so that we can nav back. Because as it is, we can only get to a thing. I'm thinking almost about adding a back button. Or we can just put the list in here. We would need to come into here in file. And I think you get children. Label widget is function. But we need to basically do the same thing, and I need... Oh, it's because this is backwards for some reason. Oh, it should be... What? Okay. Dubious of that. I still want to look at my docs here. Let's see here. Menu children, yeah. Menu item button with an on pressed and... a child. What does the child do? So they've got this going on. Ah, here it is. There's the label. Okay. Menu accelerated label. Gotcha. Okay. And that's for the Alt. When we hold Alt, it'll show us the little boop. It's very faint, but telling us that we can Alt. We should be able to Alt F. There it is. Okay, so in here we need to build this dynamically based on this. So the first thing we need to do we could also do here is I can't make you a const, but I could put you can I do this? I cannot. Except I could if I made you late. Then, if I was to do that, could do that. And then... Oop. Twitch was freaking out. Hopefully it didn't fall over. Where did you go? There you went. I could do... Instead of this being a widget, I can make you a editor screen. Which is an editor screen. Name. Landing page. Screen. This fella. And then when I do... Yeah. Landing page screen on my init. So then... in here, I can say menu item button, and you get an onPressed function, which is set page. The target page will be landing page screen. Oh, just this. I don't need to do screen. Like so. And then your menu accelerator label is the name, but this needs to be this, and I think this might be slightly problematic. Oh yeah, you can't be const. That's fine. And it is necessary because I need to do this. So now, landing page. And boop, and then landing page. Okay. I also want that to be square, but we'll fix that in a minute. And then I would need to do here for editor screen. Screen, let's just say in, and what was the as available pages? Available pages. We don't use those here because Flutter. We do menu accelerator label. No, I lied. Submenu button. No. Menu item button. And you onPressed do the same thing. Set page to the screen. Your child is the label. We add the ampersand and then screen dot name. And that automatically built this. So now we can use that. We can use this. We have options. The last thing we do I want is a quit. So after we do the 4, then we do menu item button. On pressed for this one is going to be method not pip pop. I'm not sure. I'm just pulling this out of Stack Overflow. Oops. That is not... Not sure that's still... valid. Let's find another answer here for that one. There's a whole package just to exit an app. You're crazy. Absolutely insane. This did not share anything other than what I already read. Exit function. Dart docs. Exit the Dart VM process immediately. Okay. Can we do something better than that then? It would be nice if they were to suggest something else in there. This is on Flutter itself. Works on desktop. Huh. Huh. What a weird bug to still exist. For 5 years. Why would there not be a way to nicely exit? That is absolutely insane. And this is just saying I just need to do this directly instead of all this junk. Let's try. See what happens. Fuck around, find out. I forgot to give you a label. Let's do that before I forget again. Oh, we're gonna say I think we can just do quit here. There we go. Seems to work for me. But they're saying it didn't work for Windows. Doesn't do exit app in Windows. Huh. This guy... Oh, this is some other thing. Oh, you could try it. Sudo test this on Windows. It may not actually exit. We're gonna rock and roll with that for now. Because I'm not set up, I don't have a Windows VM right meow. And I don't own a Windows computer either. Okay. That's done. That's done. Oh yeah, reloading. I need to figure out how I want to reload. But let's do a commit here. Let's see here. Make the file menu work as a navigator. Okay. Oops. Now, what if instead of a widget, we did an editor screen here as well? And then, sounds crazy, right? But down here, we call screen instead. Now, why would I do that? I hear myself asking. Because I'm thinking that I could just reset the selected page. So if I was to be in here, let's say, and then down here, we'll just add you to here. Probably want you to not be at the end, but might not even want you to be in there. Maybe I want you to be your own button. Anyway, let's just mess around and find out. Set page to display page. Now, don't don't know if that's actually, I don't think it's reloading the data. I guess the way to tell would be if we were to do like a modification to the file underneath it. Status effects. Like that one. And then no. Okay. I'm not terribly surprised by that. It was kind of a jank idea. Let's think about a different way. Without any reason to change these, I'm going to actually roll that back, since we didn't gain anything from it. And it makes things a little trickier. Okay. So. How do I want to do this? Is there a way for me to tell the widget to rebuild completely? The other thing I could do... No, they wouldn't have access. I was thinking about having the child widget, when they load, put a refresh in there or something. But they wouldn't have access to it without passing it down. I don't want to do that. Oh, you know what else I need to do? I forgot. I need to do... I didn't finish. I need to add the... base attributes selector for the skill screen. Totally forgot. What? Are you still holding on to something? I bet you are. There we go. Okay. We need a better answer than that one. What I really want is to reinitialize the state. I guess I would... reinitialize. Okay. Is this legit? Push replacement context material page route. Seems a little jank. I don't think that works. What if I... Could I do that? No, I don't have access to that. And I don't think just set state is going to get the job done. But, I mean... yeah, no. I would have to say that there's an interface... and then give them all... make them all implement it. Maybe? This is kind of annoying. If I was to, let's just say, go back here, come back in, then it would have reloaded. Which is correct. But that seems kind of jank, right? Can I... I don't think I can do that. Yeah, no. It's final, so I can't do that. Let's see if anybody else has any good ideas. Don't really want to change notifier in here. Rebuild method. Cause the widget to update itself. But I don't think... Yeah, I can't call rebuild from here. Let's see here. Why is there not... You'd think that this wouldn't be terribly difficult. Let's see here. I'm tired today, it tells you. I was up too late last night. This is also really, really janky. I don't think I love it. I guess the other thing I could do... I could lift all of the controllers up so they're only loaded one time for the whole app. And then I could tell them to reload up here. And then Flutter would figure out what needs to be rebuilt and what doesn't. I don't think I love that either, though. I could, in theory, let's just say for fun, for knowledge, I could say that you're not that though, you are. Okay, so I would then have to go back and do this. Which still might be a crazy idea, but you know. It doesn't hurt to mess around and find out. Ooh. Is that because I need to rebuild? Probably. So if I come in here and then I go over here and I do an edit to the backing data, it's not reflected here. Huh. Interesting. This... Can't await that. Interesting. Oh, you know what? No, you're the right place. Just make sure. Yeah. Interesting. Even toggling that multiple times, it just keeps it. Huh. Ain't that something? Get rid of that. That didn't work. Rebuild you because otherwise you're broken because you got old data still. Okay. This. That only works in debug. That's no good. Push and remove until... Doesn't make sense. What a weird thing to make hard to do. With HTML stuff. That's not... The other thing that could be happening, I suppose, is that set state would work, except... Well, no, we know that doesn't work, because even if I change something, then it sets state inside of here. So, which is why we see this come in, right? If I go take that out again, I can reload all day. It's fine, but like if I delete this guy, this doesn't change. It doesn't reload it. That only happens when you do the when the widget loads, right? And intentionally, we don't want to be loading from file every single time. We can work from in memory. I think I just have to have an interface or a mix-in. I guess we could probably do a mix-in. But would that work? Would I have access to... No, I would not have access to the parent. So I would probably need... Or not the parent, but the implementing. Do that. Oh, I didn't take it out of here. Take it back out of the file. And then is gone. I don't think that doing this, yeah, this doesn't reload it either. Because the other thing I could do is move this into the widget. That I don't like that idea either. There's this. I don't necessarily want a whole widget for that. And I'm now also seeing... I don't see a reload in here. Maybe I'm missing it. I see a status. Hmm. Quite interesting. Is there a refresh indicator widget? Okay, so that indicates to me that it's possible to do what I want to do. On refresh, we have to... Okay. This doesn't really say. But I also still don't have the ability to put this into the widget in a clean way. Because theoretically, we could just come in and, let's say, skill edit. Or not even skill edit, but status effects page, for instance. We could fire this off again, and that would, in theory, let Flutter do its thing, right? But then I still need to wire that up somehow. The alternative would be to put a button someplace else, which I don't think I love. And we'd have the same problem where we don't have the ability to, without telling it about this menu. This menu just lives at the root here. Let's see here. Let's see here. I don't think I could call. I don't have access to. Oops. What does call do? Allow an instance of your Dart class to be called like a function. Implement the call method. Hmm. It's not quite what I want here. Okay, so maybe that's not gonna work. I guess I could. This doesn't actually exist. Guess I could do. I can try this navigator thing. Pop and push named. Context. Route name. What is my route name here? Is there... I don't think this works. I think this kind of crazy. Yeah, that breaks stuff real good. Okay. But that seems like I would need to wire up whatever navigator is tied into, right? Which I don't really necessarily want to do. Could also do what they're saying here to where up here I use a key. But I could also do this is a hack. Shall I do this here? Well, where's the non-hacky way, my dude? Navigator push. Could I do I would need a route though. I don't want that. I don't want a router. I just need to change the page content in here. Hmm. What if I did... Can I do a hot reload programmatically? Yeah, it's not quite gonna work, I don't think. I need to... This is really annoying. Why? Why you do this? And I can't... This doesn't do anything because the state hasn't actually changed, right? So, status effects... I put you back, and then... Yeah. Because to the best of its knowledge, nothing has changed. I guess I could try... in the absence of a better idea. I don't think this actually needs to be a class, though. I think it just needs to be... Base class, is that what we did? Refresh my memory. Abstract class, that's what it was. So these guys need to have a void reload, let's just say. And I can't do this here. Oh, gonna need that. And I still don't have set state? It's because you would need to extend a stateful widget. Oh yeah, we do need that. Except I still don't have access to set state in here. Could, okay, let's take this out. Then I just say, hey look, y'all need to if you're a reloadable widget, you need to implement and reload. So then I could say it would be in the toggleable editor. So you extend stateful widget and I need to do that, I think. And then it would tell me, hey, you're missing the reload. Why don't I have set state available in here? It's because you're up here. You're not. Yeah, that's a problem too. It's only available down in the state. Okay. Why don't they just let me friggin' do it? This is just hot reload and all that. I could do the key thing. It just seems so ugly. Seems pretty hacky and gross. This doesn't really help me. Oops. Because you'll only rebuild if something has changed, so you'd have to call set states. He'll explain on this book. Do I have provider in here? No. Because we don't need it yet. There's just no tidy way to do this. That's really, really bizarre. Okay. So we'd have to put it on, instead of in here, where we're going to put a refresh button then. We can keep the navigation, that's fine. I'll have to think about where I want to put the refresh button. I guess I could put it under here? We would have to do... not there though. It would be... For example... in here... we have a load data. A retry in case of that, which we call load data. That's fine. Add configurable button, and then we're all inside of a container here. We would have to do a column. Something like that. This would need to flex higher, which I'm not terribly upset about. We would need another one of these guys in here. Oh, except for, okay, we can't reuse all of that. This would need to get a lot taller, though, unless we put you guys, instead of in a column, we could do a row. And then instead of... And we can pull this out if we need to into... its own widget. Instead of this, we could do that. And that. And then this. We want to center inside of there. And then if I come over here and I... Well, that didn't... Ah, I forgot to do... this. Can't await you in here? Oh, right. And I can do that, though. So then, if I'm over here, and something in here gets changed, or doesn't load right, or whatever... Callback argument returned to failure. You're async. Can't do that either. Oh. Yeah, no. Instead of performing asynchronous work inside call set state. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I remember that now. So we do this, and then we async you, and then we just call set state. So that gets changed, and then we roll you back. Oops. And we're like, hey, reload that. Okay. And then that doesn't actually reload this either, if that's the one. So we would also have to do that. So then if I came in here and I said, makes you cold test, then it gets put in there. Okay. And if I was to be in here and change something, it's still fine. I don't know that I love the same icon in here, though. So I might do this and say, reload data? That pushes you out. You're too wide. And I don't really want you to get huge. The other thing I could do, I suppose. Yeah, whatever. Fine, shut up. We can take this out of here. Go back to the way this was. And I could do... Put that again back down. I could put it up top here in the... up here. Except for, instead of this, what if we did a text button? I don't think I would need the padding if I was going to do it this way. Let's take that out as a test. What are we mad about here? Oh, child, because it's child, not label. That would do that. That really seems okay to me. I need you to... Reload didn't like that for some reason. This needs to be guarded. Glad we got that. So we could do that. Oh, that. I don't know. I didn't do that. Oh, you would put, yeah. I would need to do something else if I wanted to scoot that. 'Cause it feels it's not, but it feels lopsided here, right? So I would have to do... something else for the widgets. I would have to put this inside of another row. So the first row just centers this guy. And then within that, that didn't... Well, let's do this before I make any claims. Yeah, that's still... Could I do this? And then... Is this Crazy Town? Probably. Yeah, that scooches you. I'd have to do that the other way around. And if I'm going to do that, I don't actually think I need this row. So y'all can still be centered. But this one expanded is like so. Except for that's going to scooch you. So I would need to do this so that this is expanded and takes up all of that space. What have I messed up here? Positional arguments. Oh, I'm missing one. There we go. And then this guy would need to be... That would do that. Which I don't really love either. Let's get all this extra stuff out of here real quick. You, there we go. Did we already do this? We might have already done this. Getting tired, I can't remember. Okay, that does that. Which doesn't help me. Take that out. That out. That out. I'm missing... That goes there. There we go. Would it just be a column? Well, no. I don't know how to do what I want. I was thinking of this guy being centered and then this being off center, but it would look better, I think. But I'm failing to do that. I think I'm just gonna call it. I'm very tired. I'll think about this a little bit. I'm not super opposed to putting the control here. I might even want to put it before. That might be... No, I liked it better back on the right there. I'll think about this a little bit. That might be the better option. Let the widgets worry about themselves. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for everybody who came and hung out. Oh my gosh, see, I can't words. Thanks for everybody who came and hung out. It was great to see you. Appreciated the ideas in chat. That was great. If you like this kind of thing, I would love to see you again. I do this thing 4 days a week, roughly, starting today and ending on Monday. So tomorrow I'll be back at 8 p.m. Central doing this again. And I'd love to see you. If not, you guys have a great weekend anyway, and we'll catch you some other time down.